Just like that, Week 15 in the NFL, your Philadelphia Eagles are taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers after a drama-filled week in the Eagles locker room, press conferences, players talking, players go on radio shows. We'll be breaking it all down as the Eagles, more important than anything, go for their 10th win in a row, and Saquon Barkley continues to rush after history. Welcome in to the betPARX pregame show presented by Lehocky. Marc Farzetta along with Seth Joyner, and back with us now, Mr. Derrick Gunn himself.
Welcome back
from a Cali vacation. Father-in-law, 90 years old?
90 years old. We went out to California, celebrated his 90th birthday.
Wow.
And the theme was a Western theme. We all had the cowboy hats on and the shirt with the tassels because he still watches every old Western there is, from Gunsmoke, Bonanza, Big Valley. And so we did the cowboy thing. This guy's 90 years old. He still drives, still climbing up and down ladders. Meanwhile, I can barely get on a chair, get up on a chair.
Well, we did see you on the bull. We'll try to get that picture.
I was on that bull.
Hey, James, we got that picture of D. Gunn on the bull.
Why y'all got to
put him up?
Why you got to play me like that? Well, I sent it to family, and now you're going to use it against me? Really?
That's what family does. We'll try to get that up before the end of the program today. But, gentlemen, a lot was made of the drama in the postgame and what was happening right after the Eagles took care of business, although barely, against the Panthers last week. Seth, you and I, during the postgame show, were listening to A.J. Brown's comments where he simply said, when asked what needs to be worked on with the Eagles, he said, passing. And then everything was set ablaze. A great conflagration broke out, ladies and gentlemen. What did you make of A.J. Brown's comments and everything that has transpired over the last week?
Hey, listen, it was a very vague comment, and he had to know when you make comments that vague that the media in Philadelphia is going to have a field day with it, and that's exactly what happened. I don't think that he was pointing in one direction one way or the other, but, obviously, there were some issues there, and then, you already had a little bit of a blaze. Then Brandon Graham went on his show on WIP and just threw gas all over it and turned it into a four-alarm blaze. But I'm of the opinion, this is just my opinion, don't hang it on BG or anything. I believe that BG made a calculated move to fix and remedy a situation that he felt like hurt the team at the end of last year and was part of the reason for the precipitous slide, and he knew what he was doing. The only way to get these issues and this thing resolved was to throw it out there for public consumption, let it be what it'll be. He was willing to take the bullet. And, I think that AJ and Jaylen have kind of come to some kind of agreement. I believe that Nick Sirianni has stepped to the forefront and addressed the issue. And, we're just in that place right now where we're in a wait and see how all of this is going to affect today's game. Because in a lot of ways, if they lose this game today, if y'all thought that there was, a hellfire storm last week, just get ready for this upcoming week. It's going to be twice as bad. So hopefully they can take all of that energy from all last week that was bottled up in the lack of energy that was there in last week's game and use it towards today's game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, because they're going to need it.
All right, Derrick Gunn, you got your finger on the pulse of that locker room, of course. You're seeing the story about A.J. Brown. You're seeing him say the word passing when talking about things to work on, and then everything that transpires when you talk about Brandon Graham saying what he said. We also know you know BG rather well. What did you make of all the drama in this Real Housewives of the Eagles locker room episode that took place this week?
BG, who's he? I know. Now, in all seriousness,
Brendan.
Brendan. In all seriousness, everybody I talked to said you, and this is a quote, you bleeps in the media are making too much of this situation. That's
what
the
did
first
we
thing I
do?
got. That's the first thing I got.
Oh, scapegoats. We're scapegoats.
But I go along with Seth. Brandon knew exactly what he was doing. You're not in the game for 15 years, and especially a market like Philadelphia, and don't know what you're doing when you make that comment. When you consider what they went through last season, the way they tailspinned out of control last season, And right now they're on a roll. You know, they're one of the top teams in the NFL. You don't need any outside or sideways distraction. So Brandon basically put it out there to get people back in the fold. Now, along the week, everything was said properly. You know, supposedly they even, Brandon went in the locker room and in front of everybody, apologized for putting it out there. You know, Jaylen and AJ dapped it up, and all's fine and well. Body language will say a lot today in this game. Watch the body language in this game.
All right, body language, fine.
If AJ doesn't get the ball,
listen,
watch the body language.
I also do not believe that you
can. Man, why you cut me off like that, man?
I'm sorry.
See, I go away for 1 week. Y'all see how he treat me? See what I mean? Like he didn't even know me. No, I'm just playing. Go ahead, man.
You might as well finish now because I done lost my train of thought. I can only hold it for a half a second.
It's like your spouse tells you, I'm not saying anything. No, I'm just playing. No, but seriously, I don't want to see the Eagles come out of the gate and just start throwing the ball early because that's not their forte. See,
I think that in Philadelphia, you can't make vague comments when it comes to how you deal with the media, because the perception that the media is making more of it than it really is.
Right.
Well, AJ stirred that pot. If you're going to stand up and get a full sentence question and you give a one-word answer, well, guess what? You leave a lot to interpretation when it comes to how I decipher what it is that you're trying to say.
Sure.
Be more specific in what you're trying to say. That way the things that you say don't get spun around and or misinterpreted. So he kind of set the table for that. And it's not like AJ just got here last week. AJ has been in Philadelphia for a long time. He knows how the media operates. Everybody wants to send these subliminal messages. He's sending the subliminal message. If you listen to Jaylen Hurts throughout the week, he sends subliminal messages. I would have you guys go back and listen to the post-game press conference with Jaylen last week, and he says, hey, we just need to be on the same page. Sometimes we're not. He said that multiple times. You know what that tells me? That tells me that sometimes damn wide receivers ain't running the routes that they're supposed to run. That, the protection might not be what it's supposed to be. Like there's a whole lot that you can interpret there. But the fandemoniums would have you to just, you're making more of it than it is. You're just trying to stir the pot and make a big deal. Nobody's trying to do that. We're in the business of news, and we're in the business of analysis, and we're trying to, report newsworthy information and analyze what players are saying and coaches are saying. It's up to them to say things the right way so that nothing's misinterpreted or misconstrued. D. Gunn?
Look, and don't forget, not just AJ, but Devontae also followed up with a very vague statement in their locker room as well. When you have two wide receivers that are coming off back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, anywhere from 80 to 100 catches in a season, and you look at both of their numbers this year, they won't even get close to 1,000 yards this year. Frustration sets in. Let's face it, wide receivers are divas, okay? Let's face it. Let's call it what it is. Wide receivers are divas. There's no question about it. They want the ball just like running backs want the ball. But there's a new sheriff in town, and his name is Saquon Barkley. So they adapted. Kellen Moore adapted his style of offense. I never thought I would saw a predominantly run Kellen Moore type offense based on what we saw from him in Dallas and with the Chargers. Never thought I would see that. All of a sudden, they realized real soon we have something special here. This is our road to success more so than throwing the football. And let's face it, it's a much safer path when it works because you're not putting the ball in harm's way, putting it up in the air 35, 40 times a game compared to 20, 22 times a game. Hand that ball off to somebody who's sure-handed, let them run their football. We're averaging 190 yards a game rushing, and nobody can stop us right now. We're controlling the clock. It takes us a while to get going, but once we get their head of steam, we're like a locomotive. You can't knock us off the tracks. So your wide receivers who are used to being the stars are now taking a backseat role to the new star in town. That's hard to comprehend, and I don't blame AJ and Devontae. I just don't like the way it came out during the course of the week.
The question is, Marc, are you in the business to win? Because each and every year is going to be different, okay? So last year was a big year for the two of you. You both had, 1,000 yards. Everything was hunky-dory. You both got extensions in the offseason, but each year is different. In order for the Eagles to win a Super Bowl, they have to run the football, okay? They had to run it back in 2017. We had to tell the damn coaching staff to do it then at the beginning of the year. 2020 was 22. We had to, run the damn ball. Once they start running the ball, and what's connected to, a good running game is connected to both of those Super Bowl runs. But I understand, too, the other side of the spectrum, because you guys are going to hear me say something that you probably never thought you would hear me say. The passing game is important.
Yes.
Okay? And they can't live with a 56% passing ratio, running ratio, to a 44% running ratio. Because at some point in time, they're going to encounter some mastermind defensive coordinator that's going to come up with a way to stall the run. And are they going to be prepared to throw the football? Okay? Now, why in the world is the passing game suffering? It should not be suffering, because a team that runs the ball as effectively as the Eagles run it should be able to run any pass play that they want to. The problem is they run pass play, they go play action pass, and they run bootlegs when they haven't established the run. And it doesn't work. So then they got to go back to the running game, and they get stuck in the running game. Dare I say that they're stuck in running game purgatory? You know, the reason why they're not getting off to fast starts is because it's one or the other. They come out, they run the ball well on first down. They did it last week. First play of the game, boom, Saquon rips off 12 yards. Then they go pass, pass, pass. I can go back to my notes and tell you exactly what the hell they ran last week, okay? This is how they operate. Instead of coming out, running the ball, run the ball, they go play action off of those same passes, those same runs that you just had, and now you've set the defense up where they don't know what's going on. They're kind of on their heels, you know? Until they do that and utilize the benefit of having this run game, the wide receivers are going to be frustrated as hell, D-Gun.
Yeah, no
because if you look at the offense, like last week, those wide receivers were wide-ass open. On many occasions, Jaylen just didn't turn it loose. He didn't believe what he saw. He didn't just let it rip. Can't play that way.
All right, I will also bring this to light when you talk about the ineptness of the pass game. Over the past month, now they're averaging 20, 22 passes a game. Over the past month, like 40% of Jaylen's dropbacks have ended in scramble or throw the ball away. Think about it. Like 40% scrambles or throw the ball away.
Wow.
Think about that. Now, when you get deep into the playoffs, when you want to get deep into the playoffs, you better have better balance, because the better teams are going to find a way to slow you down enough. And when you're facing a high-powered team that can score, like a Detroit, like a Green Bay, like a Minnesota, game can be a lot closer than it possibly should be.
All right, Seth, just say this with me, because it's the first time it's ever been said in the history of the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles have abandoned the pass game. Never been said. We always talk about it from the run perspective. They've abandoned the pass, but maybe we'll see that change.
Let it be known, I didn't say that. Marc Farzetta said that.
Well, have they? Have they? They throw fewer than anybody. If it was the other way around, they ran less than anybody, oh, man, people would be enraged. When we come back, Seth alluded to it earlier, but Jaylen Hurts, during his press conference this week, had some very interesting things to say. In all honesty, A.J. Brown throughout the week made the fewest headlines, if you ask me. It was what was said in the Eagles locker room throughout this week, not just about getting better at the passing game, but also what they need to do to become better as a team overall, and exactly what went wrong last week against the Panthers and mistakes they hope not to repeat in this matchup with the Pittsburgh Steelers this afternoon. That's when we return to the betPARX pregame show presented by Lehocky. There it is, just 20 minutes north of Center City, Philadelphia, Parx Casino in Ben Salem.
It's happening again. Those missed tackles are starting to stack up. Your friends pleading with players who can't hear them, sweating it out week after week. But not you. Why? Because whether they score or not, there's always another way to win on the betPARX app. New casino users score up to $1,000 bonus back in their first 24 hours.
At Pond Lehocky Giordano, we understand the impact an injury can have on your life. Our experienced attorneys have recovered billions of dollars for our clients, and we know we can do the same for you. One conversation is all it takes to help you and your family get back on track. If you've been injured at work, give Pond Lehocky a call.
Sell your car to us, no hassle, no fuss. DivaSpiceCars.com. Did you know that Davis Honda will pay top dollar for your car? Go to davisbuyscars.com and get an instant quote on your vehicle. We'll make the purchase as easy as possible and put cash in your hand faster than you can say davisbuyscars.com.
Sell your car to us, no hassle, no fuss. davisbuyscars.com. It's the most wonderful time with the kids jingle. Be of good cheer. It's the most wonderful.
Whether your phone's broken or old, we've got you. With Verizon, anyone can trade in any phone, any condition. And get iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. And iPad and Apple Watch Series 10, all three on us. That's up to $2,000 in value, only on Verizon.
Hello?
This upcoming segment is brought to you by betPARX. Welcome back to the betPARX pregame show presented by Lehocky, Marc, Farzetta, Seth Joyner, Derrick, Gunn back with us after a week off last week, and that's, of course, when all the drama started up. You know what, though? We got some great...
on me?
Yeah, I'm just going to say, you take the week off.
First, missing mustache.
First the mustache, and now this.
I told you, it's the mustache, man.
Yeah.
Every time the mustache leaves, some stuff jumps off.
I'm gonna shave it off just for the heck of it, see what happens. Just
Don't
see
you
what
dare mess with a winning streak.
Why?
You never mess with a winning streak.
I'm not
Although,
a superstitious person.
last week, I'm just a little stitious. When Ray was here last week, he wore the mustache for us.
Did he?
Oh, yeah. Slapped that right on him.
If Ray wore that in honor of my absence, I have to keep the stash then.
It was in honor of the winning streak more so than anything. But when it comes to some great vibes, Seth, you're doing some great stuff here with this toy drive that's going on. We want to make sure that we plug this and people. How do people get involved with this to help out?
Well, follow me on social media. All of that stuff will be out there for you to see. We're doing in conjunction with CHOP Hospital. We're doing a toy drive. I know that it's last minute, but in the conjunction with our new foundation, the Joyner Family Foundation, this is one of the things that we're kicking off. But if you follow me on social media throughout the show, the information will be there. Not only can you buy toys and bring them here, I don't know how that's going to work, with Christmas being right around the corner, but there's also going to be a link as well where you can go and not only can you donate, that we'll buy toys with those funds, but also there's an Amazon Make-A-Wish link where kids have actually gone online and made a wish for what they want, and you can go right to Amazon, click it, and buy it, and they'll receive it.
All right, and I know in our description on YouTube, on the Seth Joyner Show YouTube channel, where a lot of you are watching right now, you guys can go into the description of the show, and you can find the link there for more information. So some great stuff there, and I know we're all honored to be associated with the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia as well. Before we get to Behind Enemy Lines, to break down guys we're really going to be looking at with the Pittsburgh Steelers today, I do want to talk about what was said in the Eagles locker room throughout this week. And first and foremost, let's talk about Jaylen Hurts, because Seth, you and I had a very similar take on this. One thing that he said that we're going to break down here is the offense is going to look, and he spoke in the third person, the offense is going to look as Jaylen Hurts wants it to look. Damn, Jaylen. Thoughts on that answer for Jaylen Hurts when talking about stepping up the passing game?
He comes across as this humble, even-keeled guy all the time. I think that might be the most what's the word I'm looking for? What word did I use?
Arrogant. A little arrogant.
There's a little arrogance in that. Like, I'm the quarterback of the team. I'm the one that's working with the OC and the head coach, and this offense is going to look the way that I want it to look because this is what I'm comfortable running. And that was a little off-putting for me because I'd never seen that side of Jaylen Hurts before.
I think he might have said it out of frustration, too. It's like, why are we constantly talking about this? First of all, how much money does he make? What is it, $250 million?
Yeah.
Teams on a 9-game winning streak. They're 11-2. He can say what he want to say. He can say, and I'm sure he has the endorsement of the head coach and the OC. Right now, he can say what he wants to say because they're winning.
Yeah, but you got to be careful what you say and how you say it, because no man is a team all by himself.
Nope.
And as much success as Jaylen Hurts is going to have in his career is going to be because of those guys that's blocking for him, for those guys that's catching balls for him, and those guys that's running the football for him. So you got to kind of be careful when you say things a certain way because, everybody's sensitive to that. Everybody wants to feel like they're a part of it, So when you take ownership in that way, you telling everybody else that their thoughts and how they feel and how they react to it doesn't matter because it's my show and we're going to do things my damn way.
That's what you tell me and Marc all the time.
Hey, listen, man.
Y'all
got more input on this show than I do. I don't know what the hell you talking about.
I will say this. Seth never says the show will go as Seth Joyner says it will go.
No,
he never says that.
But you read between the lines. You can.
Oh, here we go.
No, I'm just playing.
Y'all gonna make me bring Taylor on air and tell the real.
Oh no, hey, man, I'm afraid of Taylor, man. Let me tell you something. She walks in and says, "I need you gentlemen on the set now." Translation means, "Don't make me slap somebody in the back of the head and leave 5 fingerprints in the back of your bald heads to get you out there."
I knew this show was going to be different when Gunner sat down just to put on his mic and started busting out a rap. But anyway.
You want me to rap for you?
No. We're good right now. Maybe to close the show. Maybe
Okay.
you could take us out to break. But when it comes to the comments made by Jaylen Hurts, I also got the sense that, and this should maybe be obvious to some people, he's got a lot of say in the way this thing goes. And just not as a quarterback and talking about game plan, talking about the run-to-pass ratio in its entirety. And then he also talked about this. To your point, Gunner, when you talk about this offense, they're winning. This offense is rolling. And I thoroughly believe, and I got into this last week, but the most dominant thing in the NFL is Saquon Barkley behind this offensive line. Like, I grew up with the stories of, if Barry Sanders would have had Emmitt Smith's offensive line in Dallas. This is as close to that as I think you could possibly get.
There's no question.
This offensive line with this running back running behind him is pretty incredible. So I get the sense from Jaylen Hurts and listening to him through his press conference this week, he doesn't want to put the precious pigskin in peril and throw it too many times because he has something he could default to that is only the most dominant thing. So why risk throwing the ball away? Watching the All-22 throughout this week, how cautious he was, how many times he pulled the ball down, how many times he didn't want to see the ball tipped to the line of scrimmage, rolled out of the pocket, the 40% that you were talking about there, Gunner, when he's scrambling or running.
Yeah.
I mean, that's astonishing to me. So I got the sense listening to him during the press conference that it's like, we have the most dominant thing going. I don't care if I'm throwing the football 20 times a game. If we're winning and we're constantly putting up points with this run game, why should I risk it?
Because show me a quarterback that don't want to throw the ball,
I agree
and I'll show you a quarterback that don't want to be a quarterback.
I agree with you, Seth. but what's the most important thing for this team? We're trying to get to the big show, right?
Right, sure.
And you don't want to be that guy who's the odd spoke in the wheel. And AJ kind of got out there earlier in the week, then he pulled it back. Now everything is Camelot right now. But if you're right, Seth, and I've been saying this all week, if they lose this game today, radio, podcasts, TVs are going to run with this the entire week leading up to that Washington game next week. And that's not fair because whether it's the Steelers, 10-3, whether it's Kansas City, 12-1, whether it's the Eagles at 11-2, it's not the end of the world for them to lose a game. Unfortunately, all of this so-called controversy hovers over how they're going to play the game. That's not what's going to determine the outcome of this game.
Well, but listen, everybody wants to make it seem like we, the media, created this.
Yeah, you people in the media. Yeah, you people.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
If they would have handled their business the right way, okay, instead of AJ being upset after the game, listen, they all had the right to be upset because they didn't play their best game. But to answer questions the way that he answered them, he set the stage and he set the table for the way that things turned out, and things just kind of snowballed and went downhill. Listen, I didn't consider this last week, and I should have. I kind of thought about it after the game, and I talked about it on my podcast last week. But the Eagles won 8 games in a row before they played the Panthers last week. They had the previous game, and everybody wanted to talk about a classic trap game. The previous game, they had to take the bus down to Baltimore, play against a Baltimore team that's very physical, very energy-driven game, very physical game, high adrenaline game, okay? They come out with the win, and they got to get back on the bus and come back to Philadelphia. Now, after winning 9-8 in a row, you would think somewhere along the line, you're going to have an off game, or you're going to have a game where You just can't get up. I know what that's like because I've been in that situation before. You play a highly emotional game one week, and the next week it's just hard to get up. And this is what I think happened with the Eagles last week more than anything. You know, they just didn't rise to the occasion against a team that they felt like they could beat, a team that would come in and lay down, and they fought them to the very end. Great lesson for this football team.
Here's the thing that just makes me laugh. They struggled against an inferior Carolina team, but did they win the game?
Yes.
They won the game, right?
Yeah.
But yet everybody's talking about, oh, my goodness, the sky might be falling and how they played against the lowly Carolina Panthers. Number one, the Panthers have been improving weekly, not to the point. You know, I always say you have to learn how to win before you win. Mm-hmm. And Carolina has to learn how to win, and they've been playing tough games up until they placed the Eagles. Bottom line is the Eagles won the football game. Kansas City has been playing nasty football all year. You look at how they won some of the games, blocked field goal last play of the game. So Patrick Mahomes is not even playing close to the MVP level that he's been accustomed to playing at, but yet they have the best record in the National Football League, right? It doesn't make a difference how you get to the finish line as long as you get there before the opposition. That's the bottom line. Everybody can't play perfect football every week, dominant football every week. The best teams in the league, Detroit, is not dominating people every week. They find ways to win games. That's what you do to stay ahead of the race.
My only point in saying that, and you kind of spoke to it, is when you win and you're displeased, sometimes the best thing to do would have been for AJ to have that conversation with Jaylen.
Right.
To have that conversation with Kellen Moore.
Yes.
Or Nick Sirianni behind closed doors. Not to show that frustration outwardly, you know, that kind of set the stage for all of this. Because at the end of the day, you still won the game. And if, as Jaylen always say, if the main thing is the main thing, then we accomplished the main thing today. Mm-hmm. We won the football game, and you just got to be happy with that, you know, and we got to work through all the other stuff without letting the world see, you know, that there's some issues going on. That's all I'm saying as far as that's concerned.
Certainly. And I just wish, and I said this last week, I'll say it again, I just wish that A.J. Brown took A.J. Brown's advice from last year, which was after his media silence for a little over 2 weeks. He said, you know what? I had nothing to say that was positive. I didn't want to compound with negative.
Right.
Where was that advice last week, A.J. Brown?
He did say during the week also, if I've got to be the bad guy for this team.
Oh, I hated that he said that.
Why?
That annoyed me more than anything. That annoyed
Why?
me more than passing, actually.
Look, if he wants to be that guy and knowing the type of market Philadelphia is, then put that onus on him. He goes, look, if I got to take the blows for accountability for my team and myself, I'm here to do it. There are a lot of Mark, you're from here.
Yeah.
Across the board, historically, there are a lot of athletes that cannot play and survive in Philadelphia.
It ain't for everybody.
This is a different world.
Yeah.
So for this guy to say basically, you know what, bring it on. My shoulders are broad enough to take whatever you throw out there. Hey, we're going to find out, because if he keeps opening his mouth, more and more negativity is going to rain down on him. Let's see how he handles that.
Certainly. You know what, though? Let's talk about some positivity, and that's some jerseys and some great giveaways that Seth Joyner has for everybody out there that wants to participate. Make sure you guys are following Seth on all social media platforms. Right now, this week, we're going to be giving away, Seth, you got a Jaylen Hurts jersey on the docket to be given away. So make sure you're following Seth on all social media platforms so you could be in the running for that Jaylen Hurts jersey. When we come back, I promise you we'll get you behind enemy lines to break down what the Pittsburgh Steelers have in store for the Philadelphia Eagles in this matchup. Back in a few. The Beer Garden here at PARX Casino. Enjoy a Stein, take in a game, and have yourself a good time with some friends.
And the next thing I knew, I woke up in a hospital bed.
Has a friend ever told you a story about an accident and someone says,
You should probably sue them.
Forget your friend. Call Lehocky Giordano.
We're an injury law firm that's recovered billions of dollars for our clients.
And with our vast network of attorneys throughout the country, we know we can do the same for you.
So if you've been injured in an accident, give Lehocky a call.
One conversation is all it takes, and you won't pay a dime until we win.
Most people don't know how to get the care they need. The experts at Stay at Home Care can help. Before choosing a caregiver or family member for your care, you need to apply for the Home Care Program. The application process can be complicated. Stay at Home Care can help you navigate through every step. Once approved, your caregiver or family member will receive guaranteed weekly pay, a variety of medical benefits options, paid holidays, paid vacation, and overtime pay. Call Stay at Home Care, here to help every step of the way.
This is Parks. Parks, Pennsylvania's #1 casino experience. This is how you win.
Since 1893, Weber Display and Packaging has been Pennsylvania's leading manufacturer of corrugated packaging and displays. We're family-owned with 4 Philadelphia locations, 2 converting facilities, a warehouse, and a fulfillment center. Designed through delivery, we exceed customer needs. Weber Display and Packaging. Our core values drive everything we do. Come join our team.
Gentlemen, are you ready for a wardrobe update? Introducing Divine Nine's Custom Menswear, your clothier for truly unique, custom-made threads. With Divine Nine, you can design your own one-of-a-kind suit, jacket, slacks, shirts, golf pants, and shorts, perfectly handcrafted by our skilled artisans who will bring your vision to life. Prepare to stand out from the crowd with Divine Nine's Custom Clothier, official clothier of Seth Joyner. Custom clothing made for you.
This upcoming segment is brought to you by Lehocky. Welcome back to the betPARX pregame show presented by Lehocky. Marc, Farzetta, Seth Joyner, Derrick, Gunn with you. All right, let's get into it. Brought to you by Verizon. Behind enemy lines. Gunner, first game back after a nice little week off for yourself, riding a mechanical bull and all the great stuff.
You're going to put me under pressure.
No, it was great. It was phenomenal, man. So let's hear what you have to say. Who are you focusing on for Behind Enemy Lines today? Brought to you by Verizon.
I have to go with an obvious one, and that's T.J. Watt. You talk about a bad man. You know, he's had double-digit sacks every year except his rookie year and 2022 when he tore up his knee. But the last 2 seasons, he's had 19, and he's at 9.5 right now. He's easily going to get his double-digit sacks again. What I love most about him is when he's so quick off the football, and when he's attacking, you can't knock him off his spot when you're blocking him. He does such a great job of condensing the pocket, and by that I mean even when he's not getting to the quarterback, he's putting pressure enough on the quarterback to force the quarterback in a direction where somebody else can get to him. You know, he's been a 4-time finalist for Defensive Player of the Year, and he's won it twice. The man's a nonstop motor, and he's going to be a factor. But I will say this also. This is the 4th game where the Eagles have faced one of the elite top 10 pass rushers in the National Football League. Trey Hendrickson, no sacks. Dexter Lawrence, he got 2 sacks. And there was one other one I'm forgetting now who had no sacks. So the Eagles do an incredible – no, it was Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett, no sacks. So the Eagles do an incredible job of keeping these elite attackers away from Jaylen Hurts and allow him to do his thing down the field. You know, to allow Jaylen to keep the main thing.
Sure. Also, let's not forget about 17 tackles for loss, most in the NFL. He's in a tie with Max Crosby in terms of what he brings to the table in that regard. And how about this, to add to your TJ Watt stats, 5 forced fumbles this year, the most in the NFL. Zach Bond has 4.
Protect the ball, Jaylen.
Which only ties him with Nick Herbig, also of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Good times as the Eagles have a lot to be challenged by the Steelers. I'll take the next one here. I got to look at Dante Jackson and what you see from him, the cornerback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Absolutely a ball hawk. 5 interceptions, and you guys know when I look at games like this, very tough opponents, what always is going to dictate what happens, usually who wins the turnover battle. There's nobody that takes it more away on this defense, which only leads the NFL in takeaways, by the way, than Dante Jackson. So certainly it brings a lot to the table. And if the Eagles do end up skewing a little bit more in the passing game, just to almost right the ship, steady the ship in some rough waters throughout the week, Dante Jackson is going to be waiting for that football to be coming his way. That's who I look at for my behind enemy line. Seth Joyner, who you looking at?
I'm not worrying about Jackson. We don't throw the ball enough. I'm not worried about T.J. Watt. We got Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata. But the dude I'm worried about is Pratt Freiermuth. Oh, yeah. Pratt Freiermuth. Pat is a guy that Russell Wilson looks for. And one of the weaknesses on this defense is their ability to control the middle of the field, especially against a team that likes to run the ball. Our linebackers like to bite up. We don't get an early read on run or pass and get back in our drops. And then in man-to-man situations, are you going to put a linebacker on them? Are you going to put Zach Bond on them in the red zone when they run that little shake route, that little seam route up the middle? Who's going to cover him? Is it a safety? Is it a linebacker? This guy worries me because, we're susceptible against good pass-catching tight ends.
Yeah, it's a little random, but if there's a name I wish I could hear Pat Summerall say, it's Freiermuth. You know what I mean? It would have rolled off the tongue so beautifully. How much of a break is it for the Philadelphia Eagles to not have to face George Pickens in this game, who, by the way, is off the charts when you talk about receiving first downs, receptions for first downs, 43. The next guy for the Steelers, the next wide receiver that is, only has 23, I believe it is, and that's Austin. So heck of a drop-off there other than just the talent. How big a break is it for the Eagles to not have to face him today?
That depends on where he line up, D-Gun.
Yeah.
If he line up over on 27 side, I'm not that worried at all. But if he line up over there on number 2, I'm worried.
Yeah. Well, not having Pickens in the lineup, that's huge because that's Russell Wilson's go-to guy. There's no question about it. But Russell has spread the ball so well the last couple of games, I wonder how much they're going to miss him. Over the last 2 games, Russell has hit 18 different people in the passing game. Not many quarterbacks do that. You'd say maybe 5 or 6 per game. He's gone to 18 different people. Whoever's open is going to get the ball from Russell Wilson. Russell has done a great job in terms of distributing the ball. Russell doesn't run the ball like he used to. He only has 44 yards rushing. This was a guy who easily averaged 300 to 500 yards rushing. But what Russell still can do in the latter stages of his career is buy time. He's still one of the best in the game at being a Houdini in terms of getting away from a potential sack, allowing him an extra second or 2 to find somebody open. The Eagles have to get him down on the ground and force him to get rid of the ball a lot sooner than he wants to.
Sounds like he wanted Russell to be his BE.
Oh, look at that.
What? What?
He's abandoned T.J. Watt just like that. He's abandoned T.J. Watt like the Eagles have abandoned the pass. Anyway, here's the numbers. George Pickens actually on the season, 35 receptions for first downs. The next wide receiver has 13, and that's Calvin Austin, the third, 5'9" and all that. Freiermuth, like I mentioned earlier, you mentioned actually 5 touchdowns so far in the season, so pretty good there. The run game, also with the Steelers, Najee Harris is their bell cow back. How much of a challenge, if any, will it be for this Eagles defensive line and also the linebacking core?
Oh, listen, it's always a challenge. I mean, you got between he and Warren, the Steelers are averaging 132 yards per game on the ground. So it's a concern because your number one priority has to be getting the run game under control. One of the things that hurts the Eagles defense last week was the fact that on first down, they were giving up 4, 5, 6 yards a pop. And then I had that in my notes. We talked about it last week, and then Vic Fangio talked about it in his press conference this week, is that they couldn't control, they couldn't get the sticks under control on first down, meaning that you want to hold them to a 1 or 2 yard gain or incompletion on first down and put them in second long, third and long situations. Every time you turned around, Hubbard was ripping off 4, 5, 6 yards, and they were always in 2nd and 4, 2nd and 5, 2nd and 6. Now the playbook is wide open. You can run it again if you get a nice little chunk. Now you got third and manageable whether you want to run it or pass it. So that's going to be the key. The key is for them to control the run game on first down when Pittsburgh wants to run the ball on first down. Keep it under control. Because if you can put Russell Wilson in third and long situations, now you're going to force him to have to hold on to the ball. And I think one of the biggest keys is going to be, while we're talking about the run, before I pass it over to D Gunn, I think that the Eagles' ability to push the pocket and keep Russell in the pocket, he does a lot of damage when he leaves the pocket. Now, he doesn't leave the pocket with the intent to run, unless you're in man. He leaves the pocket with the intent to buy time and get guys to break their routes off and come back and show color. But if they can keep him in the pocket and make this quarterback that's under 6 feet tall have to throw from the pocket, have to throw from among the trees and the Giants, they stand a tremendous job of winning this game in a major way.
You know, when I look at a Russell Wilson, he's very similar to what Drew Brees used to do in terms of Drew Brees was a sub-6 foot quarterback. How often did you see Brees just stand back in the pocket? Brees was most effective when he was on the move. He was a master to play action, and that's what Russell has done his entire career as a sub-6 foot quarterback. Goes to that play action, sprint out, and pass the ball until somebody coming across the field or somebody wiggles open. You know, Russell is still lethal in that department. He got lost for 2 years in Denver. He was not made for what Sean Payton was trying to do in Denver. He's perfectly made for what Arthur Smith, the former Falcons head coach, is doing in Pittsburgh right now. They streamline that offense, and there's a reason why he's 6-1 since he took over for Justin Fields. Russell Wilson is that savvy veteran that the Steelers organization needed to get them down the stretch.
Because you know what, the thing with Russell, when Russell runs play action pass, if you notice, and he did it in Seattle, which was phenomenal for him, when he goes play action pass, he sets up at 8 to 9 yards deep. Because he can't see over those offensive linemen.
That's right.
But when he got with Sean Payton's like, we going 3 and 5 step drop. And when we do go play action, I don't want you any more than 7 yards. Well, he couldn't operate out of that. He go to Pittsburgh, and now all of a sudden they're doing play action passes. Guess what he's sitting at? He's sitting at 8 to 9 yards back. Now, it allows him to see the field, but it also allows him to see the rush coming, and it creates so much more space for him to be able to manipulate the pocket, and he's really good at that. A guy's coming, he'll step up, he'll step back, he'll move to the side, and then when time is really running out, now he'll break the pocket, always looking to throw, and if there's nowhere to go with the ball, he'll take what he can get.
You know, Darius Slay said that Russell throws a nice moon ball. You know, Russell doesn't have the strongest arm, but he has one of the most accurate arms in the game. He might throw a moon ball. He's throwing it to the right people, though, because he only has 3 interceptions. Think about that. In 7 games, he's 6-1, 12 touchdown passes, only 3 interceptions. Russell does not put the ball in harm's way. He'll eat it, throw it out of bounds, and live to play another day before he puts it in harm's way.
Well, how about that? Oh, go ahead.
He's really good at pre-snap reading.
Yes, he is.
Okay, and that's how he kills you. Because if he comes out and he pre-snaps read a blitz, he's going to the moon ball. He's going to pick, well, most of the time it's George Pickens when he's in the lineup. And he's going to run a go route, and Russell's going to throw it up and let him go make a play.
Right.
Now, I don't know who that guy's going to be today, but he's very good at pre-snap reading what you're doing and knowing where he wants to go. And after all these years of playing, he should be good at that.
Absolutely.
But he's good at making plays where the plays are there to be made situationally.
I don't think we hit this yet.
What?
He's never lost to the Eagles.
He's 6-0 against the Eagles.
He's 6-0, including the playoffs against the Eagles. In those games, 9 touchdowns, 1 interception. Now I'm going to put you guys.
That's about to change. That's about to change.
Right, I want to put
Pittsburgh Steelers ain't won in Philadelphia since 1965.
Bang. He joined the wrong team if he wants to win in Philly again. But let me ask you this. I'm going to put you both on the spot. In those 6 games, 9 touchdowns, 1 interception, how many times has he been sacked? Without going over, how many times has Russell Wilson been sacked in those 6 games against the Eagles?
This is a trick
Because you mentioned you got to get to him.
Right. See, this is a trick question, Seth, because he's over there gloating. So he has some outlandish number. So I'm going to say in the 6 games, he might have been sacked 15 times.
15 times.
Yeah.
He ain't been sacked out. He's been sacked under 10 times.
Under 10 times. How many times do you think he's been sacked?
Probably 5.
5. I thought you and I thought the same exact thing. 14 times.
Wow. See, y'all gonna learn to listen to me one day.
Well, you went over, so it doesn't count. You got to go. You got to go. Price is right. You got to go $1. You can't go over.
Oh, we playing that. Oh no. I like that. Oh man, I like that.
Oh, this is the perfect segue. And guess what? We're giving away, ladies and gentlemen.
Have your pet, Spader.
We have something. We're giving it away. We're giving away Cowboys tickets, are we not?
Man.
What are we giving away here?
Yeah, we got some Cowboy tickets coming up. We're going to give those away next week. Listen, I screwed up. We were supposed to give away the Jaylen Hurts jersey last week, but we kind of blew it. So after today, we got 3 weeks left. We got a Jaylen Hurts jersey that will go next week, followed by the Dallas Cowboy tickets, and then we'll finish up with the Brandon Graham jersey. We'll talk more about it in the post game to give you more direction on, what's going on, but we want to make sure we get that done before time expires.
Yeah, absolutely, and any Eagles fan will come on down to that Cowboys game where the Eagles will handle their business. It's the betPARX pregame show presented by Pond Lehocky. Back in a few. The 360 Lounge here at Parx Casino. Great entertainment, cold drinks.
It's the most wonderful time with the kids jingle. Be of good cheer. It's the most wonderful.
Whether your phone's broken or old, we've got you. With Verizon, anyone can trade in any phone, any condition. And get iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. And iPad and Apple Watch Series 10, all three on us. That's up to $2,000 in value, only on Verizon.
Hello? At Revolution X, we know that fortunes are made in times of uncertainty. Are you selling your investment real estate? Are you interested in deferring your tax with a 1031 exchange? At RevX, we're experts in 1031 exchange planning and the use of passive real estate options using DSTs. Not in the midst of an exchange and want to invest in real estate but don't know where to start? Revolution X has institutional grade real estate options for any size investor right now. Set up a consultation at RevXWealth.com. RevX, defer the tax, maximize the gain.
Pride, passion, and persistence. These are the values that drive us all at Ron Jaworski Golf. We strive to deliver outstanding conditions as well as playability for golfers of all ages and abilities. Our championship golf courses offer a variety of challenges from a link-style walk along the river to an escape into the pines and everything in between. My team at Ron Jaworski Golf is committed to delivering memorable experiences every single day. See all we do at ronjaworskigolf.com.
Most people don't know how to get the care they need. The experts at Stay at Home Care can help. Before choosing a caregiver or family member for your care, you need to apply for the home care program. The application process can be complicated. Stay at Home Care can help you navigate through every step. Once approved, your caregiver or family member will receive guaranteed weekly pay, a variety of medical benefits options, paid holidays, paid vacation, and overtime pay. Call Stay at Home Care, here to help every step of the way.
This upcoming segment is brought to you by Verizon. Welcome back to the betPARX pregame show presented by Pond Lehocky. Marc Farzetta, Seth Joyner, and Derrick Gunn. All right, I want to ask you guys this question before we get into our predictions for player to bank on and before we get into our predictions overall for who's going to win this football game. Of all the things that went on this week and how it's been acknowledged many times over that the Eagles need to start throwing the football, and A.J. Brown has highlighted the fact they need to work on the passing game. Is it at all a concern that they might overcorrect in this game where you could see things start to be forced, to use that word, which is a word that made us very worried about Jaylen Hurts and that awful turnover run he went on? At all a concern that they might overcorrect today and make mistakes?
See, I said off the top of this show that I don't want to see them coming out trying to force feed the ball to A.J. just to appease them. I still want them to stay within their game plan. You know what? Go with what got you to the dance. Stay on par for what you did. There's a little bit of me that worries about the fact that they're going to just try to throw the ball to Devontae and A.J. just to appease these guys. And that's not the success they've had. Now, it's bad enough. They've only scored 17 points in the first quarter all season long. Right. 13 games, they scored a grand total of 17 points in the first quarter. Don't play into the opposition's hand because this Pittsburgh team is pouncing on the opportunity. They have 28 takeaways. They are plus 17 in a takeaway giveaway ratio. They know how to take 15 interceptions, 13 fumble recoveries. Don't play into their hand and give them early momentum, okay? Do what got you to the dance and stay where you are.
Any concern from you, Seth Joyner, that they try to overcorrect?
Listen, you wouldn't think so, but I mean, if you look at this game statistically, when you look at, who the Steelers really are, they are fourth against the run defensively. They're only giving up 91 yards per game, and they are 18th versus the pass, giving up 218 yards per game. If I'm game planning, my thought is, hey, we can make some hay, passing the football, but we can't abandon who we are as a running team. I still would love for them to see, Marc, I still would love to see them come out and run the football and run play action pass off of those running plays that they have designated, so that you can keep the defense on its heels, keep it off kilter, keep them guessing as to what you're doing and what you're not doing. I think that everybody understands that this is a run-first team now. I think A.J. Brown understands that. I just think that when it's all said and done, when they do throw the ball, he wants Jaylen Hurts to be more efficient throwing the football. Get the ball out of your hand, throw me the ball when I'm supposed to get it and I'm open, okay? And the same thing with all the other receivers, whether it's Devontae or Calc or Jahan Dotson, no matter who it is. Stop standing back there patting the ball. Throw the ball on rhythm and throw it on time. I submit to you guys, this is my issue this is my thing with Jaylen, and it's not really an issue. I think that there's a little bit of PTSD that's going on with him as far as these turnovers are concerned, and he's a lot more apprehensive than he needs to be. And the message from Nick Sirianni and Kellen Moore has to be, Jaylen, just let it rip, because nobody's perfect. And the other team gets paid to make money too. We've got to advance the football. We've got to score in the first quarter, and we've got to be consistent on how we operate as an offense, okay? So you can't stand back there afraid to throw a ball because you're afraid that it might get tipped and intercepted or batted and intercepted, or just plain a guy makes a great play and makes an interception. Let it rip. Our defense in the red zone is 6th in the National Football League at 48%. So that tells me that they're pretty damn good at when you do turn it over and they get in the red zone. We're pretty damn good at either stopping them and turning them over or forcing them to kick a field goal to be ranked that high. So now that's the balance. Go ahead and let it rip, and the defense will take care of us if you turn it over. Now, you can't be upset, that the media is going to roast your ass about turning it over. That's just not how it works, okay? Jameis Winston is way at the other end of the spectrum. Jameis just don't care. He going to throw 3 touchdowns and throw 3 interceptions, but guess what? He ain't going to stop slinging it. Now, there's a fine line between being over there and being so conservative that you're afraid to pull it. You got to get somewhere in the middle and get it done, and you got to let it rip without a care that you might turn it over.
If he doesn't change that demeanor, it could cost him big time somewhere down the road. If he's that apprehensive about throwing the football, especially in a crucial situation, and they're trying to either run out the clock so the opposition can't get his offense back on the field or to make a big play, if that demeanor of his stays intact, we could see that possibly costing them down the road.
See, that's what happened when the guys in the media, roast the quarterback like that.
It's you people, man. You media people, man. You media bleeps.
Well, let's talk about then what I think was truly the worst thing to come out of the locker room this week, and it did not get enough attention.
Why are you so negative today?
Because this is something that it actually is awful.
Stop riding the Negadelphia carpet, man.
Everybody realized there's issues with the passing game.
Okay.
Jordan Mailata in his locker this week said that they didn't know the plays. They weren't on the same page. There were certain instances where no one knew what to do. I believe one of them led to a sack on Jaylen Hurts. The other one led for a short little gain on a run by Jaylen Hurts. It looked like no one knew who to pick up on a couple of different situations, said that the offensive line even, and the offense as a whole, wasn't on the same page. Forget about just the passing game. This is an offensive line that it usually plays great. They just got ranked the number 1 in football going into this week. That is more indicting than just saying in general, passing. When you're saying the offensive line or the offense doesn't know the plays and they're not on the same page, that's a problem.
That is a problem. That's a big problem, especially this deep into a season.
Well, listen, man. There are times in a game where, there's times in a game where you're just going to be off. The coach will call a play, and internally you know what you're supposed to do, but your body just does something different. And in football, especially on the offensive side, as well as the defense, all it takes for one guy to be out of position or one guy to make a crucial mistake for disaster to strike. Now, that's a glaring admission that on some of the plays, guys didn't know what they were doing. I thought you were going to say, they talked about it, coach talked about it, we're on to the Steelers.
Oh, AJ and Jaylen.
Yeah, but if you're talking about players not knowing what they're doing, that's a preparation thing, okay? And there's certain plays you can't call if players aren't prepared for it. That's why you practice. You're practicing all week long the things that you believe that you're going to have to run in order to win the football game. Now, if a coach calls something, I've been in that situation before. You know, it's it's third and crucial, and Buddy calls a blitz. Now, mind you, this is like week 8, week 9 in the season. We haven't run that blitz since training camp. And it's not in the game plan for the week. It's in the big playbook, but it's not in the game plan for the week, okay? So I call timeout because I called it, and I'm looking around the huddle, and I got some guys like that. I got some guys like that. I'm like, timeout. Okay, by the time I get to the numbers, Buddy's cussing me every which way the sun, just cussing me out. I'm like, Coach, I explained to him, okay, the looks I got on my face, I wasn't sure that if I called this, that everybody was on the same page. So he walks in the meeting on Monday morning. He was like, damn it, might be the game plan from week to week, okay? You damn sure responsible for that. But this is the playbook. And he's like, you're responsible at all times for everything that's in this playbook. You better know it. You better learn it because I might need to adjust and call something that we haven't run in a long time. So that tells me that there are things that are in the game plan that maybe the players aren't really understanding. I don't know for certain. But when I hear a comment like that, oh, you know, there was a play call and guys didn't know what they were doing. Guys wasn't on the same page. Well, why didn't somebody call the damn timeout? You know, right. I don't know, man. Right. I just, you know, when I hear stuff like that, you know, it kind of rubs me the wrong way because everything you do is about preparation. Well, okay? I need to over-prepare. I need to do more than necessary. Understanding that, you know, only maybe 65 to 70% of what I'm studying we're going to use on Sunday, but I need to be 150% prepared just in case it comes up.
So was the comment that we didn't know the play, or we were caught off guard? Because then
we didn't know. We didn't know. We didn't know what we were doing.
All right. So I got to know if that's the OC. Is that the center making a line adjustment? Is it the quarterback making the audible adjustment during a play? Instead of, I can't believe that they didn't know the play, period. I can't believe that now. I believe somewhere along the lines it was somebody who didn't make the right call or made the wrong call in terms of adjusting to what they were supposed to do before the snap of the ball.
Yeah. See, now, when you hear stuff like this, then it adds more validity and more believability to some of the things that you hear Jaylen say.
Sure.
You know, we're out of sync. We're not on the same page.
Right.
Da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
You know, you start hearing stuff like that, well, you know, he ain't going to throw anybody under the bus, but he's trying to tell you, y'all think that it's all my fault. It ain't always all my fault.
Absolutely. All right, let's get into our mid-pen bank players to bank on, our predictions. Gunnar, I'll ask you first. Who are you looking at so that when we look at the post-game show, we'll say this player stood up and this is why they won?
I'm going to say Jaylen Carter because I think Jaylen Carter is going to be very disruptive along that D-line, forcing Russell to run and scramble a little bit more than he wants to. I don't know if Pittsburgh's offensive line, they have one or two rookies starting on that offensive line. They've been pretty good this year in terms of protecting both Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. But Jaylen Carter's a different beast. I expect Jaylen to spend a lot of time slipping through gaps in today's game.
Who do you got, Seth?
I'm going with a linebacker today.
Ooh.
I'm going with Zach Bond because I think he's going to be instrumental in, keeping Russell in the pocket. Blitzing sometimes on first and second down, on run down situations, and he's probably going to figure prominently because the Eagles are a team that don't give up explosive plays. And in order for you to do that, you got to have linebackers that cover extremely well. So I would expect to see, Zach Bond lined up on Pat Freiermuth for quite a bit today. So I think that he's going to play a huge role in how things wind up finishing up today.
All right, so the weather's not supposed to be great down there. So I think as a team, can we all just say Saquon Barkley as well? I'm going to add a name to it, but I think we're all going to be banking on Saquon as well, right?
Don't take the obvious, man.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying as a team because I don't want to take the lowest of the hanging fruits.
Right.
We just need to get to a place where I talk about it all the time. We expect for Saquon to do what Saquon's going to do. That's not like a surprise anymore.
Okay, good. All right, fine. Good. Then I'm gonna name my guy.
Who?
Jaylen Hurts.
Okay.
That's right.
All right. Against this defense?
Against this defense.
Okay.
All right. Because here's the deal. the Philadelphia Eagles, over the last couple of weeks here, have obviously not performed well in the passing game. And it's been really more than that. It's been even more than a couple of weeks. I just want to see Jaylen have a really good game, a consistent game. I would love for him to be the star of the show when it comes to the opening drive. I want to see their first drive or the opening drive of the game, him march down the field, go something easy, 5 for 5, 6 for 6, something like that, and be the star of the show on the opening drive, just to help push everything down. And whatever that is that the Eagles do, we'll nullify it. We'll put it down like that. So I'm going to go with Jaylen Hurts as my player to bank on.
So let me ask you a question. Okay, I get that's what you're looking for on the first drive. But on the day, what does that look like from a numerical, statistical standpoint?
25 for 20.
25 for 20, that's hard.
25 for 20 is hard, yeah. But they're still going to run the football more than anything.
20 or 25.
20 or 25, sorry.
Well, he gonna get some double completion.
Yeah,
I know, man.
Yeah, obviously it counts more.
Okay, tell me again. 20
of 25 for 250.
Okay,
I'm going to go with that today. So a couple of big plays because I think you're also going to get these receivers involved as well. As far as a score, I'll go first this time. I have the Philadelphia Eagles winning this football game 23-20, and I think it does come down to having to rely on Jake Elliott.
Don't do it.
This football
you better
game.
not be beyond 50 yards.
He's very confident. I listened to him talk. He's very confident.
He's gonna make his first 50-yarder today.
There you go.
Bad weather.
I love it.
Yeah, I think I'm going over the sports book when we done. And put a G on that.
Okay, all right.
Because you know the odds are something
I know.
The odds have got to be like 10, 12, 13 to 1.
Right. It won't be just a 50-yard. It'll be ricochet off the upright and then through.
I don't give a damn. Just get it
to go there.
You can do it like the Chiefs did it last week.
Yeah.
Gunner, what do you got score-wise?
The Steelers' defense is interesting because they come at you in so many different ways. And, their big three up front are pretty good. T.J. Watt, Nick Herbig, and Cameron Hayward. Their big three is combined for 22 of their 32 sacks in Pittsburgh. And I believe they're going to put some undue pressure on Mr. Jaylen Hurts in this game. But I think the Eagles' run game will be the telltale in this game coming down the stretch. And I expect it to be an ugly game. Pittsburgh plays a lot of ugly football, but they find ways to win. So I'm going to go something like 20-17 in this game.
20-17, we're in the same ballpark.
Yeah.
Seth, what do you have?
I'm not worried about Pittsburgh. I'm really not. And this is why. They had an emotional game against the Baltimore Ravens. They came back. They was a little flat against the Panthers last week. With all the other stuff on top of it, I expect the Eagles to come out today just breathing fire. The other thing is, the Eagles fared extremely well against the Baltimore Ravens defense, a defense that was ranked number 1 in the NFL at the time versus the run. They were only giving up 77 yards per game. The Eagles offense, I think we rushed for over 150 yards on them on that day. They were one of the worst teams against the pass, and I think that we wound up a little bit pedestrian on the day. Yeah, Jaylen went 11 for 19 for 118 yards, and Saquon had 107 yards rushing. I'll take that against a team like the Baltimore Ravens. I think that today is going to be a similar type of game. I don't think that the Steelers' defense is any better than the Baltimore Ravens defense, to be honest with you. And I'm not worried about Herbig. I'm not worried about, J.J. Watt, because I've got supreme confidence in our 2 tackles. Now, when they start stunting, that's a different ball game. They're going to have to be aware of that because, they can create some issues in that way. But I think that the Eagles' offense is good enough to get the job done. I still believe that it's going to be a tight game. I think it's going to be another one of these defensive battles. I think we had high numbers against the Ravens, and we came in, and that game came in, pretty low. But I'm of the opinion that the Eagles still win this football game by a slim margin, 21-17.
21. We are all in the same ballpark here, ladies and gentlemen. That right there is the betPARX pregame show presented by Lehocky. Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you guys are following Seth on all social media platforms so you can get in on the giveaways. That's what we have coming up in the postgame show as well, and hopefully breaking down an Eagles victory. Hey, before we go, we missed Derrick Gunn last week. I just want to make sure that people understand that he had a great time.
Yeah, you like that? You like that? As Kirk Cousins said when he was in Washington. You like that?
That's a real bull, right? We just can't see the head.
No, you can't see the head.
That's what I thought.
I told my nephew, I said, hey, man, don't start that thing.
Yeah.
And
That's a real bull. I ain't never seen a real bull with the ropes into his back.
They've made amazing advancements.
Hey, look, I told my nephew, I said, don't start that thing. He goes, he turned that thing on. I mean, I tell you what, I'm spinning around. I'm thinking, all right, I'm manning up. I ain't throwing up today. I'm not throwing up today. But I made it. I'm here.
You made it. You made it the 8 seconds?
Bones intact.
The 8 seconds? You made it the 8 seconds?
Like a jungle sometimes. I'll keep going under.
You never know. You never know what you'll see next on the betPARX pregame show presented by Pond Lehocky. Back with you guys with the postgame show, hopefully talking about that Eagles' 10th straight victory.
Come on, young birds, fly. Fly.